Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we are once again talking about Genesys, and we have the face cam on. It's the first time I've shown my face on the channel in a little over a year, maybe more than a year. And no deck profile for you today. Instead, we are talking about the Genesys Point update. Went live today. I've already seen it, but I just wanted to go over it, give my thoughts on it. I'm in love with this format, and I can't get enough of it. So, yeah, I just want to go over each of the cards. There's a lot of cards here. And just kind of give my thoughts on them. Maybe a reason why these cards need to be hit or things like that. And yeah, we're just going to kind of do this podcast style. So I'm just recording the video. It's going to be a long one, probably. Um, so you're probably going to see me take sips of water or whatever, because I'm going to be talking a lot. If you want my quick thoughts on it, everything is amazing. Really happy with where things are heading. There's a few misses. I think, to spoil a little bit, Droll Knockbird and Dimension Shifter both didn't get hit on the list. So they're still at the point totals that they're at. As well, Centurion, which is a deck that I've been kind of toying with, is still really expensive. Auxilla is still a 33-point card, and that kind of sucks. As well, for the meta decks, I think they could probably stand to hit them just slightly harder, but I don't think that I don't think the decks that were bubbling under Vanquish Soul are necessarily like that strong, and we could see a big shakeup to the meta. So, without further ado, let's just get into it and start talking about some cards. So, as you can see right away, I have a ton of tabs here. We're gonna go over each and every card, and yeah, it's gonna be a good time. So this is the October 27th, 2025 Genesys Point updates. Now, for a little bit of background, these they said they want to come out with every 4 to 6 weeks. So, this is happening pretty quickly. It feels like, but this is how fast they really want to be pumping this stuff out. I think it's going to be a really fun evolving format, especially with how many levers they can do for that. The meta going into all this is pretty much Vanquish Soul on top. And then hot take, I actually think that Onomat is the better deck, and is the best deck in Genesys format, but has a lot more counterplay to it, and thus makes it a little bit weaker. So those two decks need to be slaughtered. I don't want them to be unplayable, but I think that they need to be taken down a large peg. They are a clear number one and number two in the format, and if you don't draw the out against Onomat, like, you just lose. And there's really no counterplay to Vanquish Soul. Outside of that, you have stuff like Artmage, you have stuff like Odeon, you have stuff like Radiant Typhoon, you have Generator. There's a lot of different decks kind of bubbling underneath the surface, and what I'm hoping for is that we can hit those decks slightly while boosting other decks around it, so that we have a very diverse format. I think that is where this format becomes the pinnacle of competitive Yu-Gi-Oh. So, without further ado, Reversal Quiz. Reversal Quiz is just a headache of a card. Send all cards in your hand I feel graveyard, call type of card on top of your deck, and then if you call it right, you exchange life points. This card just sucks. Nobody's realistically going to play it, but it's just a headache to resolve, and it does feature in FTKs. I don't think, if this card ever did see play, I think it's never going to be seeing play in like a fun sense. It's probably going to be degenerate. So yeah, good riddance. Next we have DD Dynamite. And DD Dynamite goes hand in hand with this next card, Banquet of Millions. Now, if you played Master Duel when Master Duel, like, probably about 3 months after Master Duel started taking off, you would know this combo. DD Dynamite, Banquet of Millions. DD Dynamite inflicts damage based off of banished cards, and Banquet of Millions banishes a lot of cards. So you can activate Banquet of Millions and banish all the cards from your cards from your extra deck face down, your opponent banishes also 15 cards from their extra deck face down, or face up, and then you can activate DD Dynamite and deal 9,000 damage to your opponent. That's insane. Definitely doesn't need to be. Plus, I mean, Banquet of Millions also, you banish your opponent's extra deck, so like that's also just kind of good in general as well. I could see this, in 1,000 years or so being like a decent card on its own. But again, it's just not a card that you're going to see in healthy ways. So good riddance to these cards. 51 points on these cards means that you can't play them together. And we'll get into it a little bit later, but Trap Trick also got like 3 points to it. And so, Trap Trick plus DD Dynamite, I mean, that was kind of how you did it in Master Duel. They trained bots to do this. Like, that's how consistent this was. So, kind of surprised they didn't do it in the first place, but yeah, I would have maybe taken it to a tournament and just like trolled around with it. But yeah, next we have Black Garden. Black Garden is another notorious card that really only necessitates FTKs or just unfun stuff in general. If a monster is special summon, normal or special summon, you have its attack and then give your opponent a token. And then you can target a monster in the graveyard with the attack total to the total attack of all plant monsters, destroy the card and all those tokens and special summon it. That second effect came up once in a blue moon. I remember playing a Dragon Link deck, and like that was a core combo part of it. But again, like this card doesn't necessitate anything fun. Even if you're using it for its intended purpose, all it does is have the attack of things. And I mean, you can watch MBT's progression playoffs and see it firsthand. This card is absolutely ridiculous, and it just necessitates nothing fun whatsoever. Specifically in this case, though, it's paired up with the next card on the list, which is Asclepiscu, which is an Earthbound Immortal. But really what you are looking for is if this face-up card leaves field except by its own effect, destroy as many face-up monsters your opponent controls as possible, and then inflict 800 damage to your opponent for each monster destroyed. So you can realistically do some silly stuff. There's a ton of combos out there that these two cards feature in, and basically you give your opponent 5 tokens and then hit them with a Sulapiscu and hit them for 4,000, and you can do that twice. So don't let them play in the same deck. That 51 point restriction. We're going to see this a lot where they either give them 51 points so they can't play together, or give one problem child 100 points and then a bunch 1 point. So yeah, okay to see those cards gone. As well, you have the Gem Knight Lady Lapis Lazuli. This is also a problem child. Features in a bunch of Gem Knight FTKs and stuff like that. I don't know if the Gem Knight FTK was necessarily very viable in Genesys. I never saw it. But again, just burn your opponent for 500 damage. And you don't even have to destroy the tokens with Black Garden. So you can just do this 3 times and win the game. So yeah. After that, we have a couple combos here. Beals plus any of these 3 dragons here. So Beals is a level 8 synchro. I played it in a couple of my decks already. Cannot be stored by battle card effects. If you take damage from an attack involving this card or from an opponent's card effect, it gains attack equal to the damage you took. Notably, this is a mandatory effect. So what's going on here? You have Blackwinged Assault Dragon, which notably the reason that this got any points, each time your opponent activates monster effect, place a black feather counter on this card when that effect resolves, and if you do, inflict 700 damage to your opponent. Right there. That's the line of text we're looking for. Okay. We have Bramble Rose Dragon. Same thing. Each time your opponent activates monster effect, inflict 600 damage to your opponent. Okay. And then we also have Red Eyes Flare Metal Dragon, and this is the same thing. Anytime your opponent activates a card or effect, inflict 500 to him immediately after it resolves. So basically what you do, you give them Beals. Creature swap or any kind. There's a ton of different cards that do it. Maybe we should think about getting rid of those kind of cards. I think creature swaps already points too, so that this also doesn't makes it a little more difficult. But you give your opponent Beals. You have one of these three cards, and then you do anything to proc Beals' effect to gain attack equal to damage you took. That will proc. It will activate, and then either any of these burn dragons will inflict damage to him. It'll proc Beals again, and it creates an infinite loop where it's an FTK. So we don't like that. Sad to see Beals go. I think Beals is an interesting card, but you're never playing it for 100 points. I would like to see a world where maybe we can like rebalance it so Beals is like 40. I think maybe people would play it at 40. Maybe not. I think it was fun because it was a good level 8 synchro that didn't cost anything. But yeah, it's unfortunate, but I would rather not live in a world where that is possible. I think you can do the same with Jalenduo, if I remember right, but I'm not sure on that one. Moving on, we have the Gishki stuff. This is a very classic thing. I think this card finally went to 3 in TCG after being on the list for what feels like ever. Gust Kraken, when it's ritual summon, you look at 2 cards in your opponent's hand and then shuffle one of them in the deck. And then you have Aquamirror at 1 point, Necromirror at 1 point, and Mind August at 1 point. So basically you loop this card, Gust Kraken, and leave them on 1 card. Or no, you don't even leave them on 1 card. You just loop your opponent's hand, and then they draw 1 card for turn. And especially in the state of Yu-Gi-Oh, you can usually like end on a negate too. So no matter what your opponent like draws, you're just going to negate it. So yeah, I mean, this card's not good. Nobody is playing this card in the year of our Lord 2025 with good intentions. They're not like, oh, I really like this card. It's just unfun stuff, you know, and with the lack of hand traps running around in the format, like this could be pretty consistent. So yeah, not sad to see it go. And you know, on the topic of Aquamirror, Necromirror, and Mind August, these are all getting 3 points. Mind August is a little scary because it can loop your cards, like put them back in the deck. So that was kind of what they did. At one point, I think that there was an FTK that featured in the TCG after Gust Kraken was put to 1, and Mind August would just loop 1 day of peace and deck your opponent out over the course of 45 minutes. So it's really silly, but you can do it. So maybe think about doing that. You could be the one doing 45-minute combos. So, but on the topic of 1 point costs, all these are doing is making it so you can't play the 100-point costs. Realistically, like, I have a friend who's playing a Gishki Sprite deck and plays Necromirror and plays Aquamirror. Yes, your deck takes a small hit because if you want to play 3 of these cards, you're putting 3 points in, but most of the time you have like a little bit of wiggle room as far as points go, and you're just like putting in a dark hole or a random 5-point hand trap or something like that just to make up the difference. So I don't think that these 1 point costs on like rogue decks really do too much to hurt them. So after that, we have some pretty toxic cards here. Notably, off of the heels of the TCG ban list, we have Evil Swarm Ouroboros being essentially banned. You're never playing this card for 100 points. Never in a million years. It's just not good on its own. Making it once and taking a card out of your opponent's hand. There was a joke back in the day with a hero lives. Pay 4,000 life points, special summon any elemental hero from the deck, and people would say, oh, it's pay 4,000 life points, discard a Veiler or discard an Ash Blossom from your opponent's hand. So you can hand loop them by just making your opponent hand trap you. Anyway, the reason this card gets so outrageous is being able in TCG. They would make Ouroboros, rip a card from your opponent's hand, and then use Eclipse Twins to recycle it, and then rip another card out of your opponent's hand. Um, Notably, this is once while it's face up on the field, not once per turn. Also, in TCG, or in Genesys, we have Heraldry Crest. You can do the same thing with Eclipse Twins. In TCG, it's just not as easy because you don't have link monsters to get the monster in the grave. But Heraldry Crest can target an Xyz monster on the field and then replace that monster's effect. So you can basically use 2 Ouroboros effects in one turn. Hand looping's not okay. I think that it can be fun, but if it's at all feasible to do, I think it just needs to be taken out back. They talked about question in the article. It's just a rulings nightmare. When your opponent when you activate this card, your opponent cannot check your grave. Your opponent calls his name the first monster in the bottom of your graveyard, and if she calls it right, she calls it right, remove it from play. If they call it wrong, special summon it. It's just Monster Reborn, but like really silly. Has a super rare printing, which is kind of interesting. Oh, and an ultra. Wait a second, this card is just like randomly rarity. Anyway, nobody in their right mind is playing this card in the year of our Lord 2025. If you do, you're doing pole position shenanigans where you're just trying to make somebody's day awful. Maybe they just need to make this card 100 points, because I could definitely see some troll going into a tournament and just being like, oh, well, here's what we're doing. So, yeah, good riddance. And then finally, as far as ruling nightmares go, last turn goes from 75 to 100 points. Sad to see that happen, because I think this card is interesting. I think it's fun. I think if people just weren't trolls with it, it could exist and probably be even 50 points or so. But yeah, this card is just such a rulings nightmare. And there's nothing that people can... They would have to reprint this card. And they would also have to supply every judge with tons of different ways to interpret it, because there's you've probably heard the meme of the last turn document. Back when this card was legal in TCG, there was a document that judges had that understood how last turn worked. Yeah, sad to see it go, but for the health of the game, it probably needed to. So those are what I call the FTKs, or just ruling nightmare cards. This is kind of broken up in a bunch of different points. So after that, we have a bunch of like random staple-ish cards that can be played in almost every deck that got point reductions. First, we have Metamorphosis, tribute a monster, special summon a fusion monster from your extra deck with the same level. I think this is kind of slept on. I think that a couple of these cards coming up just need a little bit of innovation to them. I think especially Metamorphosis, because there's so many different things that you can do with this. Realistically, you could even like Metamorphosis out like Millenniumize Restrict and have hand trap protection if you have like a random level 1 that you can play. I think that this is really interesting. I think it's really cool. I look forward to... I'm going to mess around with this card. I think it can do some really funny things. What is Norden at? Let me... I have the point thing on my phone. Let me look up what Norden's at, because that kind of makes me think like, oh, do you just like tribute a level 4 and then bring out Norden? Elder Entity Norden. Norden is 91 points. So officially, Metamorphosis is now a 5-point card. You can officially normal summon any level 4 monster in the game, Metamorphosis it off for Norden, and use Norden to bring it back and then do some stuff. I don't think that's going to be very good, but keep your eye out for that. That's interesting. We have Premature Burial going down to 7 points from 25, which is a huge point drop. Again, I think this is something that needs a little bit of experimentation. There's a card called Hidden Armory. You can't normal summon or set the turn that you use it, but you mill the top card of your deck and then add any equip spell from your deck to your hand. You can also do, I mean, for 21 points, you can search it with Power Tool Dragon reliably. I think that there is some silly stuff that you can do with Premature Burial. Um, is it crazy? Probably not. Um, but I think the fun thing about Genesys and what draws me to Genesys is we have not had Premature Burial in the TCG for how long? And now we get to play with these forbidden cards that I've never been able to play with as long, and I've been playing forever. So yeah, I think there's some fun stuff that you can do with this. I say fun in quotations. I think that there's probably a lot of toxic things that you can do with this. After that, we have Monster Reborn going down to 10 points. I mean, it's just Monster Reborn. It's interesting. I'm not sure how good it's going to be. I got another Lost Art. Wait a second. They reprint the Lost Art anyway. Um, yeah, they must have. That's really unfortunate because I have 3 of these and they've been sitting sealed in my collection forever. Anyway, Monster Reborn's interesting. I think that there is some room to play it. In a world where Soul Charge costs 50, I think that there are some silly stuff. You know, I was playing around with Melodious, and trying to figure that deck out. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. But I was trying to figure out how to make it work, and um, I I realized like, oh, if I could just like have a way to special summon these guys from the grave, um, it would be a lot better. You know, special summoning Aria or Elegy back and stuff like that. Monster Reborn going down to 10 points makes it tempting. I don't know if it's enough. I think that if we get into more of a simplified game, maybe, but with the way that the meta decks are still kind of running around and stuff like that, um, you're gonna have to kind of pay me points to want to like include Monster Reborn in most decks. I feel like, but yeah. After that, we have a really fun one: Mirage of Nightmare going down to 0 points. Again, I think this is another card that just needs a little bit more experimentation to it. You know, I already saw Joshua Schmidt was playing it in Radiant Typhoon because you have a searchable MST. I think that there's a couple different things with it. You know, if nothing else, you can discard a bunch of Infernoid monsters. This is a 0 point card. Again, it's exciting because like Premature Burial, this card's never been legal. This card has almost never been legal, and it's kind of fun to be able to maybe think about playing it. So, this is an interesting one. Card of Safe Return. Each time a monster special summon from the graveyard, draw a card. There's some really silly things I feel like people are missing with this card. This is a card that I was able to play back in the day, but you know, I was not good enough to make use of it. I think that there's a critical mass of good cards that you can use this with, and for 33 points, it's an interesting thought. I think I think it's safe at 33 points because if you want to consistently see it, you I mean, spoiler alert, a lot of the deep draw cards are already hit, and so um you can't reliably like get to this card. But if this card were to go down to like 25, I would start to get a little worried. I think yeah, interesting card. Keep it in mind. Then we have the side deck spell and trap hits. Heavy Storm going down to 10, Harpy's Feather Duster going down to 15, and Lightning Storm going down to 20. Heavy Storm, obviously, crazy card. Feather Duster, also good, 5 points more. And then Lightning Storm being for 20 points. Interestingly, the TCG has the opposite approach where Lightning Storm is the most free. You can play 3 of them in your deck, and then one Harpy's Feather Duster, and then one one or 0 Heavy Storm. So kind of interesting on that. But anyway, I think that it's tough to justify these cards unless you're playing some sort of blind second strategy. And even then, I think you would only play Lightning Storm. But playing 60 points for a playset of Lightning Storm is very steep. Um, I think I would just rather maybe play like Twin Twister or something like that if I was playing some sort of blind second shenanigans. Um, because a lot, I mean, like Heavy Storm and Harpy's Feather Duster are like decent enough in Genesis. I think there's enough decks that run around that have like cards that you want to pop. I mean, Cosmic Cyclone's a good card. Like Cosmic Cyclone is legitimately a good card in this format. And I think that like there's room for experimentation to play these kind of cards, but I feel like they really shine in the side deck, and you're probably only seeing them out of your side deck once, maybe twice out of a match, and putting 60 points for Lightning Storm in your side deck is kind of crazy to do that. Putting even 30 points for Heavy Storm is a little steep. I would like to see maybe Heavy Storm going down to 7, and then I think I would fight. It would fight for space in my side deck. The other thing is, I think that maybe we need to reconsider how we play these cards. Maybe we only play 2 Heavy Storm, and okay, we have a 20-point investment in our side deck. So I don't know. It's interesting. It makes me think about it a good bit. After that, we have the Dominus cards. Impulse going down to 25 from 30, and Spiral going down to 5. Dominus Impulse, crazy card, absolutely insane in the TCG, but paying 90 points for a playset is absolutely crazy. Even paying 75. Like, it better rub my feet if it's going to cost 25 points a copy. Yeah, I think this card's interesting. This card indirectly nerfs Mimighoul, which I don't think is seeing very much play. But anytime that you see Impulse being more widely played, Mimighoul players cry a little bit. But yeah, I think this card could go down even a little bit more. It would be scary to see it anything lower than 20 though. I don't want to see it at the same price as Ash or anything like that, just because like I think that there's a little less counterplay to it, and yeah, I would be scared to see this card going too much lower than this. I think 20 is probably about as low as I would want to see it. Um, and Yeah, I just think that this card's absolutely crazy. Now, Dominus Spiral, on the other hand, I think this is a really interesting card. But again, we don't have that many hand traps in this format. Maybe like a DD Crow here and there. So you're not really getting the hand trap effect of this card. I think that as a trap card, it's really good. It's Ice Dragon's Prison, but a little bit crazier. Yeah, I don't know. I think that there's some experimentation with this card. I think that there's definitely some decks that this could fit into. Off the top of my head, I can't think of very many. I'm thinking about playing Centurion or Trickstar or whatever, Ashened, and yeah, this restriction kind of hurts a little bit, but I don't know. I think that there's room for experimentation with this. I think 5 point. I don't want to see this card go free. I think this card is really good. I think 5 points is more than fair for it. After that, we have some hand traps that are getting point reductions, and I'm very happy about these ones. Nibiru going to 5 points from 10. Ghost Mourner going from 7 to 3. And then Ghost Ogre going from 5 to 3. All these cards are absolutely insane. I actually think Nibiru was very neglected last format because Vanquish Soul players just disrespected this card, and you could just win point blank against any Vanquish Soul player if you were playing this card. This is like one of the few counters to that deck, and yeah, I'm glad it's at 5 points. I think that it's a really silly card, but in this format where I feel like there's not that much defense outside of board breakers to some of the crazy build-a-board decks, this kind of keeps things in check. 5 points also makes it a little bit easier. You know, people are already playing Book of Eclipse in their sides. 5 points makes Nibiru a lot safer to play. I will consider it in hand trap packages going forward for sure. Ghost Mourner, very happy with this one. You know, I'm a Fualos hater. I think Fualos is really bad in Genesys. Um, and for 7 points, you could play Valor. But now for 3 points, you can play Ghost Mourner. And you can already see in some of my deck profiles, I was playing Ghost Mourner. The burn effect is kind of interesting. But I think for 3 points, like this is genuinely a fantastic card. Um, it's yeah, I think this card is cool. Definitely look into this card because I think that there's definitely some room to innovate with this card, and for a less versatile Valor, I think this card's really cool. Granted, we don't have Link monsters, but you know, a lot of starters that people play for their deck, or even just extenders, like you can Ghost Mourner and then like do stuff, you know. So, yeah, I think this card's really cool. And then finally, Ghost Ogre. Ghost Ogre is very specialized. It's very good against certain things and very bad and like okay against most other things. But you already saw people playing Vidos. I mean, check out my last deck profile. I played Vidos in my Vanquish Soul deck, to get over field spells and stuff like that. And in a post Vanquish Soul world, you still have Archmage Acropolis. You still have you know, the what is that card? Radiant Typhoon Mandate. You have Generator Boss Stage. There's a couple like continuous spells and traps that I think that this could be really good in. Um, I think 3 is good. I could maybe see it go down to 2. I don't want to see it go free because it's a little too generic. But I think this card's interesting. So it also makes it a lot easier to play because if you're playing E-Telly, you really want to play Ghost Ogre. And you know, spoiler alert, E-Telly got a point reduction. And so, you know, instead of paying 45, you pay 38 for a Ghost Ogre and a E-Telly. So, yeah, I don't know. After that, another hand trap, we got Seravis. I'm pretty sure that Barrier of the Voiceless Voice is like a 33-point card, so you can't play 3 and then play 1 Seravis. No, Momo. Um, but realistically, I think that's the only reason this card still has any points, is just so that you can't use it in Voiceless Voice and still play 3 Barrier. Um, because the hand trap effect of this is like negligible, you know. But yeah, for 3 points, it's yeah, 3 points, it's not worth it. And then finally, this is kind of a scary one, but you know, is Baron de Fleur worth building your deck around? Because anytime you're playing a 100-point card or anything more than like 50, I feel like you're building your deck around it. Um, Baron de Fleur is a really good card, but it's also only an Omni Negate once. And so, um, I think that realistically, this card could be 60 points and still not see a huge amount of play. So, tentatively lowering it by 5 points, I think, is totally okay. There's not many decks that can spare the points to play this card, and still make it reliably. So, yeah, 100%. I would love for this card to go lower so I can play in Dragon Ruler, though. After that, we have some generic good stuffs that we're seeing play and thus need to be hit. We have Upstart Goblin. Again, deep draw cards. Upstart Goblin making your deck 37 cards. And for what, 3 points now versus 0? Yeah, I mean, let's do it. I think like you should not have access to every card in your deck when it comes to Genesys. You should make caveats. If you want to play a more consistent deck, you can't have as much power behind it. So, yeah, 100%. Let's put some points on it. Brow, Huntsman of the Dark World. If it's discarded, draw a card. If it's discarded by opponent's card effect, draw 2 cards. I actually don't know why this was on there, or this got hit. It's only 3 points, like Upstart. But like I didn't see any deep draw decks that were playing Brow. But let's just do it. Like Dark World isn't a deck that deserves to exist anyway. So yeah. Pot of Extravagance, they already confirmed this one prior. Everybody knew this card was getting points. 10 actually seems pretty cheap, honestly, for draw 2. People are playing Pot of Greed, and I mean, Extrav just says you can't draw for the rest of the turn, whereas Pot of Greed does. I could see some decks still splashing 2 of these. It really sucks to see them like together. So I could see playing 2 of them in certain decks that you have the space for it. Trap Trick to 3 points. We already talked about this a little bit. This card is absolutely insane. There's a lot of really good trap cards out there. And, putting 3 points on them means that if there's some sort of silly thing, we can throw 97 points, 98 points on a card and call it a day. I would like to see Trap Trick actually go up to like 5 points. Just because like I feel like trap decks as a large, decks that are going to be using Trap Trick, Trapaholic, stuff like that, should be nickel and dimed out of playing like Ash Blossom. If you want to play 3 Trap Trick, you're going to not be able to play Ash Blossom or stuff like that. I also think that there's a critical mass where if you make trap cards too cheap to play, then you start just seeing trap piles, like the deck that ended up winning YCS Lille, where it was like Odeon, but it like played every Dominus card. I think that, yeah, Trap Trick's just a crazy card. I'm not going to defend that take. Then we have Rescue Ace Impulse, going to 5 points. Another card that was seeing play in Vanquish Soul, but also seeing play in a good amount of decks. In a slower format, you're seeing a lot more starters that search cards, and Rescue Ace Impulse just like punishes your opponent for doing that. Notably, it also procs Brow. Maybe that's why they did it. But yeah, I think 5 points kind of makes me not want to play it because it's not impactful in the same way like an Ash Blossom or a Ghost Mourner or a Veiler are or something like that. But yeah. In return, because they don't want to do Rescue Ace too dirty, they also they lowered Airlifter to 5 points, which is definitely the better of the two anyway. So, yeah, I think Rescue Ace players are okay with that. Then we have some Solemn Judgment-like cards. That's Dragon's Mind. It's Solemn Judgment if you control a monster with 2,500 original attack and defense. Solemn Judgment if you control no set cards, or if it's the only set card you control, and Solemn Judgment, but yeah, and then destroy all cards in the same column. Like, this card's absolutely insane. But yeah, they already said they don't want generic cards. I'm sad to see Scolding get hit because it was really cool to see it. But this card was also absolutely insane. It single-handedly won me a few games at my Genesys regionals. Genesys, or Regenesis, the deck, Regenesis, players stay losing because this card was absolutely insane for them. And now you don't get to play it and 3 of your search spell. So, yeah, I don't know. Regenesis probably needs a point reduction. After that, Super Poly. This card's actually fairly generic. And because of Radiant Typhoon, quick play spells also just like kind of pop off. I think this is a really interesting hit. I don't think it's like super powerful, but it also just felt bad to get hit by sometimes. Going up to 13 points, makes it, instead of paying 30, you're paying almost 40. So you're paying a significant point total to play a playset of this card. Again, I think maybe we just need to think about things in a little bit different terms. Maybe we only play 2 Super Poly. and things like that. So, yeah. After that, we got Grand Breakout. I'm actually kind of surprised. I think they were probably when they were initially doing, because what is it? Grand Entrance. Grand Entrance is 7 points as well, or maybe it's 33. You know what? Again, I'll just check the thing real quick. Grand Entrance is 33 points. So I think that they probably meant Grand Breakout, because Grand Entrance is, while it's a search spell, is not like the best Goblin Biker card, and not what was holding Goblin Biker back, you know? Um, so hitting the Grand Breakout makes Memento a little less strong. There's just like there's a bunch of different things, but notably as well, Radiant Typhoon was playing a Goblin Biker package, and because it's a quick play spell, you got to do silly things with it. Oh, excuse me. Whew. After that, we got Terratop. Terratop's going up to 7 points instead of 3. That means if you want to play 3 Terratop and attack a Tomborg in order to make your rank 3s easier, you're paying 7 points. And this is a really fun hit, because instead of like what I was talking about with Super Poly, where maybe we only play 2, if you're playing Terratop, you're playing 3 because you're already playing a brick with it. Yeah, I'm not as familiar with the Radiant Typhoon Goblin Biker deck as some of these other decks, but I know this was featured in it, and yeah, I think that there's just, why not? You know, let's just curb some of these cards. You know, I think Terratop deserves to be 7 points. I think it's a good card. Like, why not? After that, we also have Nash Knight. Nash Knight's a crazy card. I think that this card was super underutilized in Vanquish Soul. It's good to break boards. Obviously, you make the Masquerade with it, things like that. But it also cheats out cards. And they've already, we'll get to one later, but they pretty much were like, hey, we don't want you to be able to cheat cards out of the extra deck. And Nash Knight does that while also taking cards from your opponent, which is absolutely incredible. So, yeah, it's... And any 2 level 5s can make this. So, yeah, might as well just be 5 points. Also, pain in the ass card to try and search up. After that, we have Lars going to 20 points. Yeah, let's just hit generic. If you want to be able... If you want a card to be a generic negate, and you want to be playing that card, you should probably be playing... Or you should probably be paying points for it. I think that archetype boss monsters are okay to do that, but the second this is a 2 level 6 monsters kind of deal, yeah, let's slap some points on it. After that, we have the Mitsurugi hits. Now, I will be crying about one of these hits, but yeah, I really do enjoy Mitsurugi. I think that like Mitsurugi as like pure Mitsurugi is a really fun deck, and very interactive. It's a little bit too high power in Genesys, but I think in like a year or so, I would like to see these walked back slightly so that it could be playable. So we have Habakiri going to 100 points. You're no longer ever playing this card. Tragic. I think this card is a really cool card, but and it also, you know, makes it harder to play because you only have 2 rituals now. But this card's insane. I mean, it's the reason this deck is at all good in TCG, and yeah. With that as well, they hit Manju and Senju to 1 point each. Now, this is why I'm going to cry, because as a ritual player myself, Manju is my guy, and 1 point. But as I said before, like 1 point doesn't really hurt all that bad. This card came Ultra. I need one of those, or I need 3 of those. Anyway, yeah, putting them to 1 just makes it so you can't, like, replace only being able to play one Habakiri with playing Manju Senju to search them. So, yeah, totally okay. 1 point is not going to break the bank. And yeah. As well, they lowered the point totals on prayers and ritual to 51. So you still can't play these cards together, but you're not as pressed for non-engine if you are playing them. I still don't think if you're playing Mitsurugi in Genesys, I don't think that you're playing these cards. Maybe you're playing ritual, or maybe you're playing prayers, but I don't know. I don't know if it's worth it. I don't know if it's worth it to me. I think that I would rather play something else. Yeah. Moving on from the Mitsurugi section, we have you know what, the Nash Knight probably should have gone down here. This is like the cheating out monsters from the extra deck section. So we have Dragonar. Dragonar was an automat card that would cheat out other cards, and yeah, we don't want that happening. As well, Dragoobleon does the same thing, and yeah, I mean, realistically, these cards just aren't that healthy. I understand that there's probably like an intended way for these to happen, but let's just either like say on the cards like Dragoobleon is supposed to summon this exact monster. Cool, love that. But letting monsters get cheated out and stuff like that is just kind of crazy. Usually you're summoning Numeron Dragon with Dragoobleon. With Dragonar, you're summoning a multitude of just random Utopia cards. But yeah, so the way they tackled this is, give these 80 and then Numeron Dragon 21. Makes it a little bit cheaper so that you can, if you're playing Dragoobleon and using it ethically, you have some room for non-engine stuff like that, or other cards, but you still can't play it the non-ethical way. Same with Crimson Dragon. I actually am kind of wondering, again, Centurion's so expensive, but Crimson Dragon doing what it does and then being able to like cheat out cards. The Blue Eyes Ultimate Spirit Dragon or whatever is still usable. You just can't use it with Cosmic Blazar and Star of Cipher. Or King Calamity for that matter. Which, that's okay. Those are a little too strong. But, I wonder, like, there are some good cards. You can play, like, Red Supernova Dragon or something like that. I think that there's still some, and, you're not putting all of your points in Crimson Dragon. Realistically, I think the way I'd like to see this happen is, like, put these at, like, 51 points each or, like, something like that, so that if you are doing Crimson Dragon stuff, but you're doing it ethically, you're not breaking the bank for it. But, maybe Crimson Dragon is just that good. I don't know. After that, we have some floodgates that needed addressing. Grisaille Prison going up to 10 points. This is just a lingering floodgate that neither player can sync or exi summon, and their effects are negated. It's basically D-barrier for exes and synchro monsters if you control a tribute, ritual, or fusion summon monster. I was playing this in some silly ritual stuff, but yeah, I mean, this card's just good. And even, I don't even know if it's good per se. It was free and it was a lingering floodgate, so of course it was probably going to get hit eventually. I wish I was the one to discover it first, though. After that, we have Flying Sea. Everybody knew this one was coming. Flying Sea, 7 points. Realistically, I think hand traps have an easier time in the side deck because you can play them going first or second. So if you're going up against Automat and you have Flying Seas in your extra deck, you're putting those in games 2 and 3. So putting points on them isn't as drastic, but still 21 points for Flying Sea is kind of crazy. I'm glad to see that they touched Automat though, because if this card was literally the only reason Automat wasn't playable, it wasn't the number one deck of all time. Um, but yeah, I think this card is definitely a problem. There's not a lot. There's a few ways that you can get over it. You know, notably in Dragon Ruler, what I was playing is you can synchro it off or tribute summon it off. But it's just not fun to play into. And yeah, I don't know. I think if Exy spam or Exy's monsters become a problem, let's hit those cards. Let's not leave Floodgate just chilling. After that, we have Retaliating Sea going to 5 points. Um, I think this card probably needs to be a little bit more, but I understand why it's only 5 points. I don't think it's going to see that much play, but I think that the second we have a format where Retaliating Sea is good, people are going to be upset with it. Again, the hand traps are okay, um, and yeah, I just think that there's a lot of cards, or there's not a lot of ways for this card to be really good right now. So, Caliga going up to 100 points. This was already 90 points. I don't know if there were people that were just like, I'm going all in on Caliga. But maybe there were. I mean, this card is pretty good. It's kind of hard to get over. And a Scrap Iron Scarecrow means that you never get over it. Um, but kind of sad to see it go like this. I would love for them to release another invoked Dark Monster. Just so that, you know, we have another good Dark Monster to use with an invoked engine. You know, I play a small invoked engine in like Blackluster Soldier, and you know, it sucks that Caliga is degenerate. You know. After that, we have all 6 barrier statues. I love that they printed it like that because all the other cards have like their full legal name put on here, like social security number and everything. And then there's like, nah, barrier statue. You know what we're talking about when it comes to barrier statues, and we do. You know, these cards are crazy. We just saw 2 of them banned in TCG. And I mean, nobody wants these cards to be good. Um, like even the stun players should feel dirty about playing these cards. So good riddance. Glad to see them gone. I mean, at 60 points you were never playing them anyway. At least like, yeah, at 60 points you never made the caveat to do it. And now like at 70 points, basically you cannot do it. Um, you know, because in TCG they were doing it like, oh, if you didn't use your normal summon to make a rank 4, you can make Infernal Flame Banshee or Gallic Granite and search them, and that's technically legal in Genesis up to this point because Infernal Flame Banshee and Gallic Granite are, I believe, 33 and 40 points respectively, and so um, and so you can just like search these guys and like normal summon them. No, you can no longer do that. So good riddance. Bye bye. All right, these are meta hits, and yeah, let's talk Vanquish Soul first. So you have Holly Sue going to 33, you have Jiaolong going to 11, and you have Razin going to 11. Now, I am recorded as saying not too long ago, this is the best card in Genesis, and I stand by that. If you resolve this card, you win the game. Um, and I like the approach that they took with this because if you are playing 3 of these cards, you do not get to play the strategy. You do not get to play Vanquish Soul as a strategy. Um, and hard drawing this card when going second is absolutely insane. Now, you can play 3 Jiaolong, 3 Razin, 1 Holly Sue for 99 points. But and then search the Holly Sue over the course of a combo or something like that. And that's well and good and everything, but yeah, it's tough. It's tough. But it's deserved nonetheless. This card is absolutely insane. And cutting down the consistency at which you see this card is really good. Now, if you try to play more of them, then you're cutting down on your fire monsters. And with Impulse getting points and Razin and Jiaolong getting points, your Earth monsters are now much more few and far between. And Ash's points. So even if you play 2-3 Holisu, like, you got to find some more Earth or some more Fire monsters to play. Maybe you start playing Pluton HG2 or whatever the Vanquish Soul card is. Um, but yeah, no, love the direction they went with Holly Sue. I think she could actually probably even use more points. Like, don't even give players an option to play 3 of her. But realistically, I don't think that she's a problem anymore. Razin and Jiaolong, I like that they did it this way. I think a lot of people were expecting it to be Stake Your Soul in Razin. But I think that this still lets Vanquish Soul be semi-playable because Stake Your Soul can still summon Razin or Madlove, and you don't have as much commitment. Um, I think that with Holly Sue getting points, you play 3 Jiaolong, 3 Razin for 66 points. You can no longer play 3 Ash, but there's a lot of other things that you have the ability to play. Yeah, I think it's a really good hit. I really like this direction. Jiaolong is a weird hit just because, like, he doesn't do a lot on his own, but him plus Holly Sue is a problem. Jiaolong is obviously really cool, and I love him, but he offers a sense of consistency, but also he just can give you game out of nowhere. You go battle and you like attack with a Borger, reveal Earth Fire, Earth Dark. I don't fucking remember off the top of my head, but to burn your opponent. So they've taken 4,000, and then you get to special summon Jiaolong attack, and so you just have to have another 1,600 damage dealt to your opponent. Yeah, it's incredible. But yeah, glad to see them go. After that, we have Exosister getting points. We have Exosister Pax, Exosister Michalis, and there's a typo here. I had a hell of a time searching this card. Ichiki Sorori Hime. I like this because this is the only deck that was playing Shifter. Shifter is 10 points. And so Pax being a 3 of, Michalis being a 1 to 2 of, and then this being a 3 of, this becomes 15, 30 for 45, and then 65 means that you don't get to play any of the other degenerate stuff if you want to play 3 Shifter. Yeah, I think it's a good step in the right direction. I would like to see Shifter get points, obviously, but yeah. Notably, it probably means that people aren't playing Thunder King in this deck anymore. This card would search Thunder King sometimes, and it was just silly. So, and Thunder King's 20 points. So, with those kind of point totals, it makes it a little difficult. Plus, this deck does get support in Burst Protocol, I want to say. So, this deck could still be around. I wouldn't get rid of your Exosister stuff just yet. After that, we have Dynamorphia. Now, I think Dynamorphia was only hit because of last turn. 100 points on last turn plus 1 point on Domain and Frenzy means that you can't reliably last turn. Because I don't think Dynamorphia is that good outside of that. But I could be very wrong. I've never seen it even in Genesys. But outside of last turn shenanigans. But yeah. After that, we have the VFD hits. And I think this is kind of what people were speculating when it came to what they were going to do to Generator. Generator is a fair strategy. And these cards don't do anything unfair. They just let Generator consistently make VFD. VFD is obviously the problem, but you should be able to play them. They're not going to give VFD 101 points. So what they do is they just say, hey, the cards that make you play VFD a lot easier, like yeah, let's slap 1 point on them, and then that way you can't play this guy and VFD. You can't play World Legacy Monstrosity and VFD, and so and then on top of that, you can't play their other boss monster as well. So I think that this is a perfect way to go about it. Generator is still a fair deck. This card is still a amazing card, and yeah, like it's good stuff. After that, we have Treasures of the King going to 5 points. I think I would like to have seen one of the Apophis traps get points as well. Um, I'm okay with 15 points for Odeon Engine, but I would like to see like there be like maybe a 20-25 point investment to play Odeon. I think that Nerva is a much bigger problem as far as its point total, which we'll get to. But yeah, I think 5 points for treasures is good. Um, and yeah, I think I would have liked Apophis of the Swamp Deity to maybe go up to like 5 points as well. Just so that we have a little bit of like your engine's already good. Um, you should take a little bit of hit in your non-engine to be able to play it. So I don't know. After that, we have Nerva going to 5 points. This is one I disagree with because typically you're only playing 1 to 2 of him anyway. And so this being the only Archmage hit, I think that Archmage is kind of the best deck in the room at this point. Um, maybe pure Radiant Typhoon or Runic Radiant Typhoon after these hits, but Nerva is like a card you don't make all that often to win, and when you do, you're only spending 5 points to make him. So to play Archmage, instead of paying 0 points, you're paying 10 points. Which I was talking to a bunch of people that were playing Archmage at regionals, and they were like, I have all these points. What do I use them for? And oh no, you have to spend 10 points now. I don't know, man. It just seems kind of silly. We have Onomat hits here. That would be Dodo Warrior. Again, nice hit. I think that this card is crazy. I think that, like I said, Onomat is the best deck in the format. If you don't, if your opponent just never has Flying Sea, um, and yeah, I think that it definitely needs some points. I still think it's pretty decent, even with Dodo Warrior, getting points. But yeah, Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss. I don't know what this was featuring in specifically, but I think that it was definitely a card that just need points. Kind of like Evilzar Lars, where like if you want a generic ish card that can do stuff like that, like this, you should have to pay points for it. And I think this goes to 20, right? Yeah. So that's perfectly okay. These are the two Radiant Typhoon hits, other than Terror Top and Grand Breakout. Just hitting their generic cards here. Going to 3 points each on these, I believe. No, Cicada King goes up to 5. Totem Bird to 3. So, most players were playing 2 of each in Radiant Typhoon. So you're paying 16 for the Radiant Typhoon engine, before any non-engine stuff like that. I would like to have seen maybe Swim or the other level 3 Eldam getting some points, but realistically, I think this is fine. Um, I wonder how. I think Radiant Typhoon works well because people aren't very prepared to fight against it. And, they'll go first and then not set any spells and traps, and then they just get to do all the extension they want. Um, so I think that if Radiant Typhoon becomes the best deck in the room, people will be able to play against it a little bit better. So after that, we have Canine hits. I have not seen a pure canine running around, and I don't want to. I'm totally okay with these hits. I don't know what they were defending against. I know werewolf is like just a good generic rank 9. So maybe that's why it was hit. But Jokul and Noroi, sure, let's do it. I don't care. Like these cards don't need to be played. Get them out of my format. Especially like what? Yeah, look at your opponent's hand. Hate that. Hate that. Don't put these. Don't print this kind of stuff. Werewolf, like I said, being a good generic rank 9. But also like I was cooking up like a Canine Crystron kind of deal. And like that release restraint, like going Ripper into case into release restraint and whatnot, is still totally fair in Master Duel and doesn't or in Genesys and doesn't cost anything to play other than Ripper. So making the point investment on that is sure cool. Enter Blathnir, another generator hit, unfortunately, but I mean, oh man, did I just? There we go. But I mean, like Ouroboros on a rank 9 is pretty good. And yeah, banish a random card from your opponent's hand, or banish a card from your opponent's graveyard. Like there's this card. This card's pretty good. It deserved to be like that. We have Trish going to 13 as well. I don't know what the significance behind 13 on Trish is, but I mean, this card was limited for the longest time just because like you could loop it, and I think it's totally okay to not be able to play multiples of Trishula. I think in this day and age, people aren't making Trishula that often. And if they are, they're probably doing it for degenerate purposes. This is a sad one. No Punk, Foxy Tune going to 5 points. Deserved. This card's incredible. But, a little look behind the scenes. I've been playing Skull Servants, and I was cooking up some fun Skull Servant stuff, but I put all my points in Chaos Ruler and Zombie Vampire, and so this makes that dream dead because now you can't play Foxy Tune. And you need to play Foxy Tune to play the Punk Engine to make a level 8 synchro consistently. So this card's incredible, but yeah, it's unfortunate. After that, we have Megalith Anastasis, 33 points. I'm just going to leave this up on the screen real quick. I'll let you read it. So this card's insane. Why is this a card? Notably, this is a continuous spell, right? So you can use in Genesys, where turns are lasting a little bit longer, you can activate this card, discard 1, add 2 Megalith monsters. And then when you ritual summon, you can draw 2 cards, discard, and then also tribute a monster your opponent controls. Cool. Next turn, you get to do the exact same thing. You get to discard a card, add 2 Megalith monsters, and then draw 2 cards and discard a card, and then tribute a monster your opponent controls. That is insane. That is incredible. So, I think this card's incredible. And, it makes it so, because if you're going to play Megalith, you're probably playing it because this card exists. And Megalith's pretty good as well. But, this makes it so you do not get to play any points. You have 1 point to spare. And, yeah, I think this card is absolutely crazy. I've not seen Megalith pop up that often because I think it's a little bit harder to play than some other decks, but I think that this would definitely bubble under the surface and then come up and just, read this card. So, yeah, definitely needed some points. I think it's very deserving of 33. I think it could probably go to 40 and not nobody would bat an eye. We have the branded hits here. Fallen the Virtuous going to 15 points. I like this. I do like this because people were cooking this to be like a generic quick play spell. Um, like send a monster that mentions fall of an all bads from extra deck to grave, and then target a face-up card on the field and destroy it. That's pretty good. I mean, it's good and branded, obviously, but what it does is it lets you just do so much other stuff. You know, you can send an Albion, and then set another fallen. Or no. You can't set a fallen. But you can just do some silly stuff. Like there's all these cards you can add. You can add a Dogmatic or a Fallen of Albaz. So, there's just so much silly stuff that you get to do with this card being as generic as it is. Oh no, you can set this. So you can activate this, pop a card, send an Albion, and then set another Fallen in the Virtuous. So that's what people were doing with it. I think that it getting 15 points in Albion, I think goes up to 20. Yeah, so to do an engine like that, say you're playing 3 of these, which you could be playing Ash Blossom. Say you're playing 3 of these for 45 points, and then 1 to 2 of these means you're playing 60 or 65 or 85 points to play that engine. And that's crazy work. So, Titaniclad, and they're basically just slapping 10 points on all the other ones just in case there's something else that goes on. I think this one is kind of scary because you can just like cheat out any of the Despia cards. Yeah, I think I would have liked this to stay free, just so that people can kind of have fun with it in like pure branded. But yeah, we do, however, get Lubellion and Mirror Jade down in points. So pure branded doesn't suffer as much. These go from 33 to 10 points. So, you're still paying, I think branded... Oh, I don't even have branded fusion on here. That's funny. But branded fusion going to 40 points still stings. Crazy that branded fusion, they're saying you can only play 2 branded fusion. But this card is 33 points and Holly Sue's 33 points. Anyway, yeah, pretty good stuff. I like where these hits go. I think maybe Mercurier being 5 points is a little tragic. But I don't know. I'm okay with negates not being in the game. Notably, this also stops Beal's shenanigans that we talked about at the beginning of this video. So, yeah. Let's just close these real quick. Alright, we have generic cards and some cards that they have identified as being overpriced. So, Rhoda, 35, E-Telly, 35, Tenki, 35, Fossil Dig, 35. Yeah, for some reason, Fossil Dig's 35. I'm not sure how I feel. Like, I was testing against somebody that was playing, like, dinosaurs. And, like, Miscellaneous Saurus is, like, a 75-point card. Maybe it's 80 points. And, Fossil Dig's also 40 points. Like, your deck just doesn't get to exist very well. And, like, you're playing Misk if you're playing dinosaurs. But then you don't get to play their search card. So, I think it's okay for them to be able to play 1 Fossil Dig, 1 Misk. Yeah, I don't know. I think that it's pretty silly that they went like they did this. As well, like the consistency cards in general, I really want this card to go down in points, but it's obviously crazy. But the consistency cards in general, I think, are way too overpriced. I think that you should pay to have a consistent deck, whether that be like by making your search cards 2-for-1s in the form of 7th Tachyon and Small World, or if they're 1-for-1s like these, you should pay for them. I think 35 is too steep. I would like to see these maybe in like the 25 to 30 point range. I think even 30 is a little steep. Speaking of, terraforming's not on here, and terraforming I think should have gone down. But Another searcher, we got 20 points, a 20-point reduction on Nightmare Apprentice. So, I mean, this is just like discard it, or discard a card, special summon her, and then add an illusion. So, kind of a one for one. Um, but yeah, I don't know what they're so scared of when it came to um, illusion and Chimera as an archetype, because like Cornfield Codal is 33 points and this being 40 points, like they definitely did not want you to play those cards. That they did not want Chimera played. So I would still like to see like Cornfield Codal get a point reduction and stuff like that. Ashana going down points, 13 points overall. Don't know why that has any points whatsoever. But you know, special summoning a 10E from the deck is kind of okay. Banish it from your hand or graveyard, but like I don't think that 10E is going to be good. Period. um, so I don't know. This is maybe if it was free, there would be some shenanigans. You know, a free level 7 that also searches another 10E. Yeah. I mean, you can't use it with Vishuddha very easily, so I don't see what they're so afraid of, but I could understand a little bit of trepidation. The Hidden City going down from 33 to 13 as well. Another search card, and this is pretty much just because they were scared that Guru Control was going to be the de facto best trap deck in the room, not realizing the man is the man. And so, yeah, I still think that this could. I think Guru is good. I actually do think Guru is good. Um, I just think that there's probably a little too much going on, and it sucks going second. But I think with the right pilot, Guru Control can still be pretty good. Um, you don't have access to floodgates, so you still have like, and it has unique interaction. I think Guru Control's fun. I just think that it has a bad rap because flipping up a rivalry or a Tikaboo, and then also all the other stuff is kind of crazy. I still want points on Hidden City because I don't want Guru players to ever think about playing a Floodgate. So yeah. We have Union Hanger going down to 25 points from 33. I think this is all right. I think that there is a chance this gets low enough um and ABC becomes like a crazy good deck. There's a lot of combo potential with this deck, and it can just like pop off really easily. So I want them to be very careful with Union Hanger, and I want them to be very careful with just like how much they give ABC as well. You know, I'll talk about it a little bit later, but my hot take for this list is that Ancient Fairy Dragon should be points. Sword Soul Emergence being 25 points from 33. I mean, the entire community was like, why is Sword Soul so expensive? It's like Centurion. Like, you have Moye and Longwan being like 3 and 5 points or something like that, or maybe it's like 5 and 7. You had Emergence being 33 and you have Chixiao being 33. So, like, nobody is upset by the power level of Sword Soul. So let's give them a little bit and let them play. Um, so yeah, I think they're afraid that like maybe there's something there's got to be something that we're missing that Konami sees. But yeah. Then we have the Gladiator Beast hits. Now this is like the most hit deck on the Genesys ban list. Maybe no, Brandon definitely got hit more, but oh, I didn't even realize Masquerade went to 16 points rather than 10. But I'm okay with that. I don't like the tax man. Geysirus going down to 0 points. This card's cool. I love this card. This card's really cool. It's like a little too slow, but to play like regularly. But yeah, I think this card's cool. Proving Ground, you know, we just don't want to have consistency, so this goes down to what, 25? Yeah, 25. Gladiator Rejection. interesting. You know, I think that there's. I think this card's really cool. But realistically, you don't have access to their link monsters. And this deck isn't building like a crazy board. You have only so much that you can do with this stuff. And the thing that you can do with this stuff is Tamer Editor. And this card is absolutely insane, and that is where they identified the problem. And I think I agree with it. I'm not as well versed on Glad Beasts as I should be, but I think that this is the whole reason this deck is hit at all. I think everything else is healthy about it. So, but again, cheating out monsters is something they don't want us to do. Speaking of things I'm not well versed in, the ninjas. These two got point reductions to 5 points each. They were both 20 points apiece. So, hooray for ninja players. I think ninja, based off of what I've seen of the deck, I think that ninja is like a contender for a good deck in Genesys. And I want to see what this deck does. I want it to be good, I think. So, after that, we got Sprite Starter becoming, 10 points? So, let me just quickly check and see what other Sprite cards are on here. Sprite. That is the only Sprite card that is on this list. So, to play, like, full Sprite, I mean, you don't have access to Link Monsters. You don't have Elf. You don't have Sprind. But everything else, if you're just playing, like, the Sprite cards, 10 points for starter. You're playing 30 points for your engine. I think that that's good. I think that there's something to be done there. I wonder if it's, like, maybe like for hire Sprite or something like that, but there's got to be something to cook up with that. You can use it to special summon Merly, and you're only spending 80 points. After that, we got Phantom of Ubel going up to 76 points. Nightmare Throne going down to 25. Now, I know that there was a deck that I saw that was playing Nightmare Throne. That wasn't Ubel, and I think that's kind of cool. Also, this card is just so pushed. This card's incredible. So you don't get to play Nightmare Throne and Phantom of Ubel, and I think I'm okay with that. But give Ubel players the chance to play 3 Nightmare Throne if they want. Varudris is also like still 30 points, I think. So you can't play 3 Nightmare Throne and Varudris. So yeah. Grave Squirmer going down to 1 point is fun too. Or going down to 0 points from 1 point. Again, I just think that it's not Ubel is not that scary. What's scary about it is being able to like OTK by crashing your monsters into another monster. But there's a lot of other decks that can do that too. So it's also Prismatic Secret Rare. So I don't know. I think that there's room for Ubel to be good. And now that like the points aren't evenly split between Nightmare Throne and Phantom, I think that there's some fun stuff you can do. Vanishing Lanius going down to 0 points. Yeah. The thing is, kaijus are really good in Genesys, and Xyz Encore was really good in Genesys, and Flying Sea was good in Genesys. All of those cards really make it so Raid Raptor can't play. Yeah, I think that this is totally okay. I don't think Raid Raptor is like going to be the best deck in the format or anything. I think it's a fun deck, but with kaijus running around and Xyz Encore and Flying Sea and all that other stuff, I don't think that Raid Raptor is that good. So, and that's the list. What are we at? We're at an hour 24. Yeah, just some closing thoughts on this. I think that they hit Vanquish Soul well. I think that the dominance of Vanquish Soul is over. I think they hit the other decks that were performing well pretty good. I would like to have seen more hits to Archmage, but um, I I think that it's not as big of a problem. I don't think that deck does like that much that's oppressive. So yeah, glad that they hit Fallen and Virtuous preemptively. Like the direction they're going with some of these cards. Like definitely these cards don't need to be this expensive. What else? Like the point reduction up here. I really like this stuff. This just makes my brain just like, what can I do with these cards? Um, yeah. So, yeah, kind of closing up here. My closing thoughts are, there's no Droll and Lockbird on here. I think Droll and Lockbird is just an infuriating card in general. I don't like Droll and Lockbird. I don't like. I've been of the opinion since Dragon Ruler format that any format that Droll and Lockbird is a good hand trap means that it's a bad format. Um, and so I would like to see Droll get more points. I just think that it's not a fun card to play against. Same with Shifter. If you ever get hit with Shifter, like there's not as many decks running around that can play Shifter, but if you can, it's just an infuriating card. Yeah, it probably won't end the game and all the other stuff, but like I just don't want to play against it. And last but not least, Centurion is still expensive. I would like to see Auxilla go down to 25, 20 points. Um, and yeah, and maybe that's just me wanting to play that deck and getting kind of upset that Auxilla is so expensive. But yeah, I like the direction that Genesys is going. Look forward to more content as I kind of brew some more stuff. And yeah, thanks for if you've made it this far in the video. Thanks for sticking around. And yeah, we're just gonna keep rocking and rolling. See ya.